So we're gonna remove this tubeless tire. Little bit of soapy water around the outside. I'm just gonna pull this here. It just pulls it off just like magic. And then watch how easy it is to put back on. We just push the bead under a tiny bit right here, and then flip it over. Boom! This is Cushcore's rotary tire tool. It is $300, and actually, what you just saw there is a little bit more impressive than what meets the eye, because if you're not a mountain biker, you've dealt only with just kind of a tire on a beach cruiser or a road-going bike. This is for tubeless mountain bike tires. They are very hard to get on if you've never done it before, and actually, this tire has a Cushcore insert inside it, which makes it notoriously difficult. That's the main complaint about tire inserts, is they're hard to install. And this seemingly did it in seconds. But here's the part they don't tell you. I was messing around with this for about 30 minutes to learn how to use it. Who can just get that under their tubeless tire that easily? Okay, it came out right there. Or is it supposed to go this way? I would have been done with this already if I just did it by hand. Now that I know how to use it, now that I'm past that learning curve, this is gonna go really easy for me. I'm probably even gonna use this, not just for tires with inserts, but for any tire. You've seen me muscle a tubeless tire on. Some people can't do it without tire levers. There's a technique to installing tubeless tires by hand. It takes practice and it takes a lot of grip strength, and you're still gonna have to learn how to do that if you don't wanna spend $300 on this thing. It's worth noting the official helper tool always was and still is a garbage can. So the way it works is this. You install this through the hub, and then you have a tire removal side and a tire installation side. You also would have a little spray bottle with some soapy water just to make it slide easier. To remove the tire, you hook a tire lever under it and you flip it over this little lip over here, and then you just move the rotary tool counterclockwise around the tire. Now, on several occasions, it came off and I had to pop it back on the lip. The demos that you see at Sea Otter is from somebody with a brand new tire and they've done it a million times. In reality, it doesn't necessarily go as smoothly with somebody who hasn't done it a million times like me. But as long as you use plenty of soapy water and you keep that downward pressure going, it really does just pop the tire right off. It's insane. And then again, soapy water, move it around clockwise, and it just pops the tire back on. I mean, things that people practically break their fingers off trying to do by hand, this thing does very, very easily without damaging the bead or anything. So the question is, who is going to spend $300 on this thing when you actually can do it all by hand with normal tools and a bottle of soapy water? I think you're a race mechanic. You're somebody with a lot of bikes that has to maintain a lot of tires. Maybe even a bike shop. I know a lot of bike mechanics take pride in the fact that they can take tires on and off really, really quick, and they're really proficient at it. They've been doing it for 15, 20 years. You're not gonna do it faster than this. So my conclusion, this is useful, it works, it was a long time coming, and it does exactly what it says. But save your money. $300 is a lot of money, and you should probably learn to work with tires by hand. Unless you're a bike shop or a race mechanic or you have a lot of kids or something, it's gonna be really hard to get your money's worth out of this. But, I don't know, if you have money to burn, maybe you should get one. So speaking of processes that have a learning curve, this is Silka's chain waxing system. Why are we putting wax on a chain? Well, chain waxing is an alternative to wet lube or dry lube. So you squeeze chain oil on your chain, that's wet lube. There are other lubricants that you squeeze on and then they dry up and your chain is dry, that's dry lube. They're both good for different things. This is supposed to last longer and be more efficient. In road biking, this is widespread. In XC mountain biking, we see a lot of it, but this is becoming more popular, and so today we're gonna try it. So I've already removed the chain from my Revel Ranger. It's also still got those 3D printed tires on it because we just did it the other day. And the first thing I have to do is strip the chain. So strip all the other lubricant, and they've given us this for it. I would imagine you could also use gasoline and it would be a lot cheaper. Soak chain in sealed container covered in stripper for 5 minutes. Agitate for 1 minute, rinse well with clean water. Ooh. that does have some fumes. Okay, we're gonna close this up and let it sit there for 5 minutes. Okay, while this strips and I agitate it every minute, I'll tell you a little bit about it. This is $148 and it comes with the wax, which you can see are in these little pellets over here. It comes with the stripper. It comes with the chain waxing system, which looks a little bit like a fondue pot. Basically, you strip all the original lubricant or grime off your chain so that it's just completely metal with nothing on it. You hang it up on this thing in a very complex manner. It melts the wax, and then I guess we'll find out what the next step is. Oh, this is not a perfect bag. I gotta open the garage door. Now that is a clean chain. So now they want me to rinse it off with water. Just so happen to have some water here. Oh, wow. Yeah, this chain's looking nice and clean. So they give you this little wire that you have to thread through the chain. You put this through here. Okay, so this hangs right here. And now I guess we prepare the fondue. So I'm gonna fill it with these wax pellets, super secret wax pellets. 20 millimeters from the top. Yeah, okay, we're in good shape here. 75 Celsius. Okay, and then we have to leave it for another 10 minutes. Let's go review another product in the meantime. This next product is from Bicycle. It's a cleaning baffle, $17.99. That might seem like a lot for a piece of plastic, but it's pretty nicely constructed. It's not bad. And what it is to block your rotor from like WD-40 and stuff like that. Maybe not exactly. Let's get into it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. When you're cleaning your bicycle, stuff from your drivetrain goes in every direction and then you have a mystery squeal in your disc brakes and you don't know where they came from. So what this is designed to do is go between the disc brake and your spokes, and now you have this baffle that is blocking your rotor from all this stuff that's spraying over here, and it looks like it would catch about 95% of it. Again, you don't want to do this. Then you're just asking for it. But if you're cleaning your bike, this could actually stop some problems here, and it's very interesting. The question is, am I going to use it? I don't know, probably not. It's an extra step when cleaning, but you know, some people are really particular about the way they clean their bikes. This could stop you from running into a lot of problems because I have had mystery squeals on my disc brakes, and it was probably from road grime or something when it was on my bike rack, or maybe cleaning it recklessly. And so for $17.99, you could have a baffle here that you can place between your rotor and your bike, and it's gonna block overspray and whatever you're doing. Now, could you make something like this out of a piece of ABS or sheet plastic? Could you 3D print something like this? Absolutely. But it's ready-made. I don't think it's overpriced. I think it's pretty fair. Pretty interesting product. Maybe not for me, though. Let's go check on that chain wax. Okay, I'm starting to see some liquid around here. It's melting very slowly. I suspect that this cover would make it melt a lot quicker, but we have the time lapse going and I want to get the shot. This is the kind of thing that takes some time. So I've got another quick product to show you. This is the loop mount. The minimal bicycle phone mount. And the reason I'm reviewing it is because I found this online and it looked like exactly what I wanted for my own bike. And I'm gonna show you on this right here. It is so minimal, you can barely even see it. Oh, this thing is heavy. It's like solid steel. Holy crap. Very nice. This is $69.95. It's a $70 phone mount, but look at how big it is. How is this going to hold a phone? Let's put it on the handlebars. Okay, so before we even test this, I'm being honest, that was the best installation experience I have ever had with any kind of phone mount, and I've installed a lot of phone mounts. The thought that went into the shims for different handlebar sizes and the whole experience is way overkill. Like, this thing is super nice. And now it doesn't rattle around. It's so low profile. And then I guess seems to hold the foam nice, and then I don't think you would want to use this for mountain biking. This is definitely like a commuter bike type of thing, but I know so many people that need phone mounts, especially for something like this, a cargo bike, and it's universal. You don't have to have a special case. Like you can see here, I have my quad lock case. It's awesome, but it only works with quad lock mounts. This is completely universal. This is the nicest phone mount that I have ever seen in my entire life. It is the nicest phone mount I've ever installed, but $69.95. Are we in quad lock territory at that point? Like mouse, quad lock, all these different companies are selling special cases that you can mount your phone to your handlebars with, and then you're locked into using their case. You're locked into their ecosystem. Now, to be fair, quad lock's amazing. It is not gonna come off your bike. The mouse mounts too, those are really good. But this is universal for some kind of road going bicycle, a commuter bicycle. Wow, this is cool. I like it, but there's not much more to say about it. It's a phone mount. Okay, maybe there's one thing I can say about it. Anybody that's used a phone mount on their handlebars knows you have to get the phone on and off, and that's something that those custom cases really excel at. You just like twist it or push a little button. This is a little more cumbersome. You gotta kind of like hook your phone under that side and then pull this one out, and then when you take it off, you really do need two hands because the whole thing shifts left and right. Maybe that's nitpicking, but we're talking about a $70 phone mount. I'm allowed to make whatever criticisms I want, and I can say, yeah, that part of the experience isn't as good as some mounts, but overall, I would say this is a winner. Let's check on our wax. All right, let's check on the fondue over here. I don't think that it's completely melted. What do you say we turn the temperature up to 85 Celsius? They did give us a range, so we'll bump it up by 10 degrees. So while our wax finish is melting, I've got two floor pumps here from Lezyne, the Click Floor Drive HV and the Click Drive HV hand pump. They come with Click. For those of you who don't know, I'm part owner of Click, and so this segment is sponsored by me. We're taking Presta valves, which can be frustrating to use, frustrating to seal up, and we're replacing them with a much simpler design that is actually backwards compatible. But in this case, some people want to commit to Click, and they want a pump that only works with Click. And so these pumps right out of the box have the Click adapter here, and I'll show you how it works. So this pump has a nice long hose, and the way Click valves work, if you've never seen it before, you just take the head and you push it, and that's it. And then you can pump up the tire. You can add pressure until you have enough pressure there's no leakage, and then you just pull it off when you're done. That's the way valves always should have been. Hand pump, same thing. What's nice about this one is that the hose actually comes out here, screws into the end, and now you have a hose, so you're not just beating on the valve there, and really high volume. Lezyne makes nice stuff, and Click is nice stuff, and so it's a perfect match. The floor drive is 90 bucks, kind of pricey, but it is a premium Lezyne floor pump. Hand pump's $45 and comes with a frame mount. Again, Click is a new interface. You can remove your Presta valve cores, screw in a Click core right into the same valve stem, and it will work. You can use your Presta pump with it, but if you want good, accurate air pressure readings, you would use a Click adapter or a Click pump. It's easy enough for a 4-year-old to use. It's got great airflow, and you can just get a pump that either has Click built in like these ones, or screw a little adapter into your pump. Even our pressure gauges just pop on and pop off. Let's check on that wax. Oh yeah, it's lunchtime, and we're having fondue for lunch. Let's take a look at the instructions here, because I don't want to just start dunking it in here, although I'm pretty sure you just dunk it in there. Allow the chain to sit submerged for 10 minutes in the 125 Celsius wax mixture. Wait, hold on a second. I have this at 75. Oh, that's for strip chip. There's too many different ways to do this. There's a way to do it with a new chain. There's a way to do it if you want this endurance stuff on it. There's a way to do it if it's an old dirty chain. Okay, so it's 75. I'm gonna lower it in with 75. Carefully lower the chain into the molten wax so as not to cause a splash. Gently agitate the chain. Okay, and bubbles should come up. Maybe a few, yeah. Utilize the chain coupler to hang the chain while it cools from the drip stand over the melter pot. Okay, so we suspend the chain over the fondue pot. Okay, 10 to 15 minutes of cooling and drying time before you should attempt to install the chain on your bike. So let's go look at some more stuff. This is the Ryder Innovation Nutcracker, and it is $10. I usually have mixed feelings about little weird multi-toolish kind of things like this because how many do you really need? Everybody's trying to push one out. This one is truly useful. So you can see here, it's got this little kind of alligator mouth, and then in the back they include a press the valve core. I have mixed feelings about that. And then there's this little guy right on the end. So what does it all do? Well, take for example these little nuts on press the valves down at the bottom. I'll usually like push them from outside the rim and then tighten as much as I can with my fingers. If you want to tighten one with a plier or something, you risk scratching the rim. This, it's got metal where it would grip the nut, but then plastic on the end. And so you can go like this and it won't scratch the rim, which is kind of nice, but it does a lot of other things too. It also does press the valve cores for what it's worth. You stick it on here and you can tighten or loosen it. It is probably going to hit into your spoke. I would say a good valve core wrench should be a lot smaller. Maybe you could get it like this angle and try to, yeah, that works. We got it. Of course, click valves you can just do with your fingers. And then this little guy right here is a pad spreader. And so if you compress your brake pads, you need to move them back out a little bit, you can stick this little wedge in between them and spread them out. I have all sorts of pad spreaders. I have 3D printed pad spreaders. They're common in my shop, but it's kind of cool to have a little tool that could sit by your workbench that does all of these things. I know they made it like kind of a travel tool. Ryder Innovation does a lot of bike packing stuff. They're really concerned with weight and functionality. They want you to be able to tuck it away and barely even notice it's there. This is a good purpose-built tool for it. I don't know if I'm going to use the pad spreader, but I'm featuring it here because they had the decency to only charge $10 for it. People are just getting insane right now with the prices, and I think people are sick of it. So $10, I mean, yeah, pretty fair. This next product is sold by my friend Brian over at Citizen Cycle. He lent us that Revo that we hacked into and made all those changes to. And so very thankful to him. He told me he made a turn signal kit and I was like, those are all over Amazon, really? He just keeps selling out of it and now I see why. This thing is truly plug and play. So we have here the Fun Hang, cheapest e-bike on Amazon. On any such e-bike, you're gonna find a little plug right here. You just pop it open and you're gonna see it's green. Now on the Citizen Cycle turn signal kit, there's also a little green plug. You're gonna plug one end here and you're gonna plug in the other end here. You literally just watched the entire installation aside from like securing these wires and mounting these. Watch what happens when we now turn on the e-bike. It's on and the turn signals work. There's a little button here. You can turn them both on at the same time, almost like hazards, or you can just turn one on at any given time. And it's actually got a cool little animation and everything. It's sort of extra. And then, fair warning, Curtis. That's a loud horn. That's like that freaking crazy horn that we installed on the other bike. This is like a car horn. Actually, that hurt. These are really cool. He's even got an updated version. I just think this is cool because he correctly pointed out that e-bikes are becoming very dangerous. Some of them aren't even e-bikes. They're like legally motorcycles, but they use all the same electronics and people are just blasting around town on them. Now they've got a super loud horn and turn signals and you don't have to be an electrician to install it. All right, let's see what we got here. It's exactly what you would expect if you dip the chain in wax. It's just like a chain puck. It's super nice. Like it's very uniform and everything, like what you would expect. We're gonna unscrew this little end here. First waxed chain. There's little bits of wax flaking off of it. I think we've gotta like loosen it up. Do you see all that? It's like snow falling. Yeah. Wait, am I supposed to do that? There may be some flaking of wax from the exterior during the process. Yeah, I think that's the go-ahead to get a little bit of this out in the shop. It's snowing chain wax. All right, let's put this on the bike. Okay, excited to see what having a waxed chain is like. And truth be told, I'm not gonna have the chance to actually ride it in this video, but I will be riding this bike and at a later date, I will give you my thoughts. Here's the thing though, what we really did get to see in this video is the experience of actually waxing the chain, and it's a pretty big process. Took like the better part of an afternoon. I mean, maybe you get better at it, maybe you learn to heat the wax up quicker or something. I don't know. It's probably not my thing. Now, from what I understand, if you ride in the wet or in the mud a lot, you're probably still better off with wet lube. But this can benefit you in a lot of situations, lower drivetrain wear and all that stuff, but at what cost? You have to wax your chain and then you have to wax it again. $148 for that kit, I don't think is a ripoff by any means. It's all really good quality, it's set up nicely. It's just not my thing. But I've been getting tons of emails about chain waxing. It's all the rage right now. Everybody's like, you gotta try chain waxing, let us know about chain waxing. I'm sorry, like if you want to know like if there's a performance gain or like I'm just not the guy for that. I'm not going to tell you whether I got like a 1.5% improvement on my drivetrain longevity. Okay. It's worth noting, I have so much more stuff with the kit because there's like, here's what you do with the new chain. Here's if you want the performance additive. And I'm just like, show me the basic waxing. That's going to be... I mean, if it wasn't for like the airless tire with brakes in it flopping around, that feels oddly smooth. Like really smooth. And there's little pieces of wax raining down on me and hitting me as I'm pedaling it. For all we know, in 6 months, I could tell you I was wrong about chain waxing and I just do it all the time and I gotta wax all my chains. It just seems like a lot of work. I've got all these bikes and I gotta keep the sealant fresh. I have to service the suspension. It's just too much for me. I can't add another thing to the plate. But if you're really performance oriented and you've already decided that chain waxing is for you, I think the Silica kit is probably the way to go. I had a little learning curve with the instructions, but everything's really nice. The one place where I think Silica failed was marketing. They could have called it chain maxing, or they could have called it chain fondue. Let's move on to the next product. This poor bike that I lovingly restored has become our Frankenstein monster. We just experiment with it. And you can see I've installed this basket, which is also handlebars. It's all built into one thing. It's made by Originate and it's called Classique Cargo Basket Bar. This costs $105 and it is 3.5 pounds of handlebar, but you get a lot with it. You get a one-piece design where you have a basket and a handlebar up here and actually 2 different options for rise. Right now you can see it's set at 80 millimeter. Our cables barely reach here. You can set it to like 200 millimeter and then you have the raised reversed basket. Now I ordered this because I just had to have it. One of these days I'm gonna use it on a flip bike or something like that. It is so well constructed, like nothing's gonna fall out of this basket. It's super high, everything's just contained into one. I just love it, but it's not gonna be for everyone. The bars are kind of narrow, I think 590 millimeters. You're not gonna wanna use this for mountain biking. You probably wouldn't anyway. It's pretty well designed. You can see they have a little cutout here in case your tire sort of overlaps it a little bit. And actually, although this is available in a lot of places, it's sold out on Originate's site. This is a company that you haven't heard me talk about a lot, Originate. This has got to be the most expensive thing they sell. It's $105. They have a lot of really good value things, like chain tensioners and hardware, you name it, they make it, and they've been around for a long time. When I saw that, I said, you know what, that's pretty cool. I want to put that in one of my videos. Maybe not ideal for a mountain bike, but ideal for someone. And now I'm remembering that I have some unfinished business with that wax over there. So what do? Just leave it there and melt it again and put another chain in? Doesn't say anything about that in the instructions.